Alright, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is Balkan People Internet. Guys, what's going on with the people in the Balkans? No idea, but I'm sure it's about to be incredibly intriguing. Name of the channel this video is coming from is called Ghost Gum. Let's check it out. Let's go and jump into it.
People cope with hardships in many ways. Some people cry, others get angry, and some just give up.
Don't give up,
not
guys.
If you're from the Balkans.
Right.
You may think you know the internet, but trust me, you don't know anything about Balkan People Internet. One of the funniest and most interesting corners of the web is Balkan People Internet.
Why?
That, in internet years, spans Balkan history, which is so in-depth that you probably couldn't cover it all in one video. But what you should know is that it consists of some of the greatest empires in history, communism and fascism, religious...
Oh, guys, they don't like each other. It just brings me back to the memory of encountering some people from specifically this region on Earth. And yeah, they have nothing good to say about each other. It's similar to how people from the UK speak about the French. Ask your, I don't know, great British buddy or something, guys. Tell him to say something nice about France. I bet he can't. I bet he can't. Right? It's similar to someone asking me something nice about New Jersey. Bro, I can't tell you a single thing. Just stay over there. Don't cross this bridge, bro.
Wars, ethnic wars, world wars, and most recently, internet wars. If you didn't know, it's this region in Europe, made up of the following nations.
Yeah,
these nations don't particularly
like
each other.
None of them.
Here's a safe rule when wondering which nation is friends with which in the Balkans. If the two countries share a border, they don't like each other. If they don't share a border, there's a 70% chance they
still don't like each other.
One of the defining characteristics of the typical Balkan YouTube commenter is nationalism. But I don't want you to interpret this as a nationalist in the West.
Don't be disrespectful.
Here in America, we don't tolerate that kind of crap, sir.
In the Balkans, nationalism is the norm. Due to the many hardships endured by these people, oftentimes inflicted by neighboring countries. Right. When I say hardships, I'm not talking a trade agreement fell through. I'm talking wars, annexations, and genocides. If you get what I mean.
Yes.
To show you what I mean, here are some examples.
Greece, home of sexuality. Long live the Ottoman Empire.
Bulgarians above all. Bulgarians rulers of the world.
Okay.
Bulgarians were invincible warriors.
Right.
Bulgarians creators of almost all civilizations.
None of that is true.
Now, you might see these as bad or hilarious, depending on who you are.
Yeah, pretty funny.
But remember, nationalism is the norm for people who grew up here. So they took to the internet to share their disdain for each other, posting some of the most ridiculous and unintentionally hilarious comments of all time.
Wait, they get the internet out there?
Without a shred of irony. But if you know anything about internet irony, you know things tend to go in a circle.
Bro, people don't get irony or sarcasm, trust me. Like at least 37 people are right now yelling at me in the comments for saying that last statement.
These comments were so ridiculous that people started creating archives of them in places like r/Balkan People Internet, which would go on to be banned for promoting nationalism, which is the opposite of what it was supposed to do. It was making fun of the nationalism. But this will be a theme going forward, trust me. The irony would be pushed so far that people would start parodying their own cultures, not just other cultures, which ended up creating one of the greatest and most influential subreddits of all time. Not just for Reddit, but for internet culture. They created r/2Balkan for you. This community took Balkan People Internet and cranked up the irony to
Bro, what are you boxing?
The whole point of this community was Balkan people coming together to make fun of each other by parodying their own nationalism, which in turn spawned some of the most iconic internet memes of this generation. The most blank in blank meme was widely popularized due to its use on 2Balkan for you. It also included parodying the stereotypes that were used by many Balkan internet posters. Now, you as an outsider might look at this and say, hey, these people are making fun of each other based on things that I'm not comfortable with. Therefore, it's not okay.
Bro, wait, you're too soft.
Okay, but I present a counter argument.
Okay, let's go.
Culture is nothing like your culture. First of all, it's normal in Balkan culture to make fun of people and to not take that personally.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like, guys, I mean, listen, I've been to Eastern Europe before. I don't know. It's interesting out there. I would say that if you're going to go there, make sure you don't stand out visually specifically. I'm trying to be nice here, guys. Just, it's interesting. If you don't like being able to walk into like restaurants because you're different, that's not a place to be, type of thing. But if you do look similar, you can have a great time. I'd say, at least. But
Second of all, remember, all of these countries raise people to be extremely proud of their heritage and their roots, because historically there is a very good chance they've been wronged by their neighbors at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand
the sheer volume of history in the Balkans. As a result of this, a lot of people would just avoid talking to anyone from a neighboring country due to the stereotypes they were raised on. 2 Balkan for You flipped this narrative completely on its head by uniting people from the Balkans with one thing they all had in common: nationalism. This video was made possible by Raycon. Look, you already know what Raycon is.
Yeah,
so
we got it, bro. We got it, bro.
Raycon's everyday earbuds have optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, meaning not for you argue.
All right, so listen. Raycon, they're headphones made by the singer-songwriter Ray J. A lot of YouTubers promote it. If you want them, I'm sure you can find them in some way. Either way.
For their countries that they were able to bond over. Many users of 2 Balkan for You argue that they would have never had perspectives on their neighbors and their upbringings had it not be for the subreddit, when in reality, they have a lot more in common than they originally thought.
They do,
I guess you
absolutely.
could say it was ironic, realizing they hated each other was the reason they came together, but either way, they came together. One of the heads of 2 Balkan for You has explicitly stated that if it weren't for the subreddit, he, as a Greek person, would have never met his Macedonian or Turkish friends. He claims that if the subreddit never existed, tons of Balkan people would still hold the same perspective of their neighbors. They were also able to turn up the irony and laugh at the people who took
Guys,
their nationalism
that's ridiculous.
seriously. So in a bizarre...
Hey, listen. America. All right, we take it seriously around here. All right, but he pointed out that he's not talking about us.
Our roundabout, layered way, they cooled the tensions in historically one of the most tense regions on the entire planet. It's like cranking up the AC and the heat at the same time to achieve an average temperature, and it worked. Now you see, this perspective is a bit nuanced and hard to understand if you don't have a background in the Balkans. Although you could just talk to a Balkan person about that to get the perspective, but hey, it might take a second to realize that even if I don't like this, these people are okay with making fun of each other and being made fun of. Reddit admins do not think like this. You see, there's one type of person that no matter what, people on 2 Balkan for You unironically hated. People from the West. And nobody embodies the stereotypical term.
That could have been it also. Keep that in mind. Listen, my experience in Greece was interesting. Romania, interesting. All right, I'm telling you, the rest of the countries were decent, semi, right? But the specifically, I don't know, guys. There could be like an American sentiment because, guys, I live half the year in Spain, right? So like, there is some times where it's just like, you hear people speaking and they don't recognize me as an American for some reason, right? Occasionally, right? And the interesting aspect of the situation is that they just start talking crazy. And then when someone says, oh yeah, he's American, for some reason the conversation slightly changes to, oh, New York, tell me about New York. Bro, no. You think I don't understand what you're saying? You're saying all types of craziness. Right, but all right, continue waiting 9 months for a tooth repair.
Permanently online, babied Western person than the average Redditor. A couple of people came after 2 Balkan for You, most notably the users of AHS, but it was nothing more than people just complaining, failing to understand the point of the subreddit, which wasn't to be mean or hurtful, but make fun of that. It was just a small group of Redditors though, so who really cares? 2 Balkan for You.
Wait.
It was just...
These are unmasked Redditors, guys. I believe it.
Just a small group of Redditors though, so who really cares? 2 Balkan for You did take some steps in changing the subreddit to be more advertiser friendly in order to not get it banned, such as changing some user flares and making sure no unironic stuff got through. But this wouldn't stop them from the attack that was about to come.
Okay.
Not from the Reddit mods, but the Reddit admins, in particular, one notoriously awful admin. Now, as previously discussed in another video, admins and mods are very different people. To understand this simply, admins are paid employees of Reddit, whereas mods are basically slaves. Mods are the ones who get individuals banned, admins are the ones who get entire subs banned. Now, in doing research for this video, I got in touch with the head admin of 2 Balkan for You, who had direct interactions with a certain Reddit admin. The messages between them perfectly paint the picture of why 2 Balkan for You was banned. So this admin, Cheetor? Chitor?
Right.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
It
is
doesn't
the one
matter.
we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
You might know her because she
I mean, you kind of just leaked your source, though. I don't know if that's a good idea.
got caught abusing her powers on r/place to erase stuff she didn't like, essentially defeating the whole purpose of place. Cheetor had taken some issue with 2Balkan for you, citing that the user flares were in direct violation of Reddit Rule 1. Here are the user flares on screen that they used to make fun of each other. You can be the judge for
Hold on.
yourself.
Let me see. Okay. Okay. All right.
Whether you agree these violate the rules or not, the mods had to agree to the conditions. The mods simply wanted an explanation on why they had their user flares removed, as Cheetor had just removed them without giving them any warning or any heads up. They explained the point of these user flares was to make fun of people who were using them seriously in the real world. They also argued that they're criticizing themselves, not others. Therefore, it's okay because everyone here is in on it. Either way, the mods said they'd be willing to change the flares if they got them back, giving Cheetor what they wanted if they would just leave 2Balkan for you alone. Now, if you look at the messages, it's clear Cheetor didn't even look at the response and just doubled down, saying that their word was final and they wouldn't be getting their flares back no matter what, because
Right. That's what it sounds like.
Cheetor, being the hero she was, wouldn't stop there. They mentioned 2Balkan for you was promoting hate and gave examples. The mods claimed that these posts weren't even promoting hate, and they also said they were trying to keep the subreddit as clean as possible, but felt they were being unfairly treated and given too short of a leash. They also pointed out that nobody on the sub was getting offended, who, keep in mind, were the butt end of these jokes, but it was a Western person coming into another culture telling them what was okay and what wasn't.
But that's what we do, though. Right? That's literally what we do. To many countries, right? And we say, listen, what you're doing does not conform to our specific way of life, so it's wrong and it should be demonized, right?
They pointed
Okay.
out that the posts mentioned were against hatred. The whole point of them was to make fun of nationalists in the region by parodying them to a ridiculous extent. They also claimed that a Reddit admin should be helping them to make sure their community is within guidelines, not going on a power trip and harassing them because they don't understand it. They even asked for contact with another admin who didn't have the comedic understanding of a 4-year-old, but instead, Cheetor made it so every post on 2Balkan for you had to be filtered by the mods. Keep in mind, it had over 100,000 users.
Oh no.
Basically creating a spam
Right.
subreddit where
Right.
no posts could be made and it was run into the ground. All of this eventually culminated in the deletion and ending of 2Balkan for you. A sad day in internet history. But the Balkan philosophy stayed the same until the very end. We
Okay.
own the subreddit, but we don't own the community. The community owns itself. And that was the end of Balkan People Internet for good.
Right. Listen.
Just kidding. These people have survived the strongest empires in history and each other. You think some Reddit admin could kill them? Here is Balkan's eye.
What's happening here? I don't know what happened to the audio here. It just like cut out completely. All right, so they're doing all types of oddness on the screen, but with no audio. All right, so here's the thing, guys. You should be able to do whatever you want to a certain extent, obviously, if things are not getting crazy. But you have to understand kind of how the internet works these days. Like YouTube used to be a place where you had the ability to kind of, say whatever you wanted to say and everything was basically fine, right? But that's not where we are any longer. I mean, like this channel here is watched so heavily by YouTube. How about this? Maybe not watched specifically, but like they like the AI that reads the transcriptions pays attention so heavily to this channel. People are like, oh, why do you have to censor things and other channels don't? Because you don't have over 5,000 videos uploaded onto this platform, right? Within like 3 years. Okay, just keep that in mind. They don't have that, right? So like I upload so much that they have to pay attention. Right, and this is just directly from the people at YouTube, behind the scenes, basically, right? And so what happens is my channel is watched to the point where I have to censor everything. Everything has to be, for the most part, self-censored also, or they'll basically take the channel down, type of thing. That's kind of how that works these days. We used to have a place where you could say whatever you wanted to say on the internet. This is not that place any longer, at least. A lot of that is due to, like, advertisers and things like that. Advertisers have no interest in, running commercials over content that they think is inappropriate, right? So now, onto this subreddit here. The same exact thing. So if you're now pushing things that advertisers, specifically Western advertisers, do not find any interest in, or they think it's debaucherous, or they think that it's absolutely terrible, to promote, et cetera, then what they're going to do is they're going to do everything humanly possible to stop that, because now your subreddit is not making any money for the platform. Right? That's the reality. That's what it is. This is why they don't want certain things on the internet anymore, guys. That's just where we are. Right? The times we're in. Everything is very advertiser heavy. That's it. If you want to change it, I would say, someone create a platform that is different. There's another one. It starts with an R, right? That one over there is like that. But again, why content creators don't move over there is because they do not have the same audience, right? And I know it's easy to say, just go over there and do your thing. You can't say that when almost exclusively what you do at a high level, at least, is content creation. You cannot do that and make 2% of your regular income. You can't do that. you can't do that. Right. But either way, I would like for it to be more free, though. Absolutely. Right. But again, Western advertisers are the ones who pays the overwhelming majority of these social media platforms, guys. And they don't like certain things. So regardless of if your culture or your country speaks openly about certain things, you absolutely cannot do it on a Western platform. You have to create your own. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.
Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.